Cześć wszystkim, tutaj sesja Level Up 30 ze specjalnym gościem Markiem Okoniem. Jesteśmy tutaj z Wojtkiem Fusem, z Jonasem De Ro oraz z Darkiem Zabrockim i zapraszamy na sesję z naszym wspaniałym gościem, który poprowadzi dzisiaj nas do wspaniałej podróży.
Dzień dobry.
Whoa. Gruba dupek kutas. We're not going to do the session in Polish. Hello everyone, welcome to Level Up session 30 with Marek Okon. Hey Marek.
Hello. Hello everyone.
We are here with Marek, me, Wojtek Fus and Darek Zabrocki, and we're very happy to have Marek with us for this 30th session. You probably all know his fantastic work. I don't think we have to introduce him anymore, but just for you, we're going to share a little bit. So if you want to see his work, just go to www.oconart.com. I think
Let me share the screen to show the people. Okay.
Yeah, and just get your tissues ready.
Yep.
Viewer discretion is advised.
That's not sexist, right? That's
no, definitely not. It's for whipping.
Counts for everyone. Okay. Yeah, so Marek is an outstanding concept artist who worked on projects such as The Last of Us, Uncharted, Crysis, and he also worked on a bunch of movies. You worked on Jupiter Ascending as well, right?
Oh yeah, like for a year and a half.
Oh yeah, it's a long time. I'm actually wearing my Jupiter Ascending t-shirt right now because I'm so sad that they pushed it back to February.
Yeah, I guess. I was so pumped up to see it this summer.
Yeah, me too. I think it's because of the World Cup. That's what I heard, that they're pushing back stuff a little bit to make
From what I read, it's because The Edge of Tomorrow is not doing so well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was quite of a success, right?
No, it was not. It bombed in the States, didn't it?
Yeah,
wow, really?
And it's supposed to be like awesome movie. I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah, actually, I really enjoyed it. I had a private screening in Odeon in Leicester Square 2 weeks ago or something and I was not expecting that much, but actually I thought it was good. There's quite a lot of humor in it, and Tom Cruise is not as annoying as he usually is. So. I enjoyed it.
Tom, if you're listening, it's not our beliefs what he said. I think you're awesome every time.
Yeah, exactly. We just draw stuff, right?
Yeah.
Simple guys, right?
So Darek, you're showing some of Mark's work here. Yeah.
You can also follow him on the new art station and Facebook profile. So there is not, it's always a lot of awesomeness, so we can still follow it everywhere. So yeah. Go and do it.
Yeah, really, really awesome stuff. And so today we're going to have a little bit of a different session because Marek's actually going to do overpainting because you decided that you want to see more overpainting. So Marek has agreed to comment your work. So if your work's in it, don't thank the gods, thank Marek.
Yeah, that's right. So in the meantime, if you have any questions to Marek, please type them into the chat, and I will just try to pick them up, and we'll try to answer them live. Just make sure to type it in with a question before an actual question, so it will be easier for me to see. Yeah, so I think we can get started.
Yeah, and just one more note, if your question doesn't get picked, please don't get frustrated. It's likely because either we don't think it fits the context of the conversation, or it's something that we've answered many times, and this happens a lot, that people ask the same questions. And we don't blame you for it, but we encourage you to watch other sessions so that people who've been watching other sessions, we don't sound like we're repeating ourselves all the time.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe let's try sharing your screen, Marek.
Okay.
You just have to hit the green screen share button on the left.
This will work?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so let's start with this image because it's pretty simple to overpaint. This guy definitely knows what he's doing. He's a baller. He knows. This particular image is by if I'm not mistaken, Jakub Bazyluk. Yeah. So, thing first. Generally, I like to watch my image for first, like overview, something like this, like a small little thumbnail to check if everything is okay. You have to check your values first. You have to check if the composition is right. So when you do it like this, or when you squint your eyes, it's the best way to make sure that everything you want is in place. So first thing first, as I said, values are pretty good. I really think there's something to them. What I would do is to expose a bit this. Oh. Can you hear me? Because I think something just.
Yeah,
no, we're listening.
I'm not trying to distract you, man.
That's okay.
Yeah, so Marek, if you will find that painting and talking difficult at the same time, if you would just want to focus on painting, for example, we can just pick the questions and try to answer them when you will be doing an overpaint. So whenever you're like feeling like painting, just tell us.
I think I can talk. Yeah, let's try that.
Perfect.
For a while. Maybe I will do a little narration here, because again, I think that this part should be way darker, just to show this sort of energy from the ball going up. I'm gonna do those paint overs really quick, so just don't get distracted by lack of details. Because I will try to do them all, like Pokemons.
Nice. So basically here, I think you're trying to give dark space to give the bright energy.
Exactly. Some negative space here to emphasize this lovely, interesting ball, and maybe some more energy to it.
So it's like balancing the values to emphasize one thing that is already, like a light.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have like a lot of light areas here and here, and if you put something that emits the light again, like this ball that's white and emitting energy, you will have to try to put it in contrast of something. Because if you put in light effects on light, that never looks well.
Yeah, because sometimes it's happened also on the photo references, and people are trying to, to make it like exactly like on the photos, and they think that's all right, but it's not. But you have to sometimes just correct it somehow or just tweak it up. So
generally, if you're trying to use a photo as a plate for something that's going to be rich in like visual effects, in like lightnings and fire, try to pick dark photo with no overburn areas like this one, like overexposed.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let's make sure that this line of trees is dark, so we can actually separate this ground plane from like a tree section. Oh my God, I'm gesticulating with my hands here, and you cannot see it. That's funny. Ooh.
So Marek, can you explain us somehow like the beginning of your career? How did you start? What was your first breakthrough, and how it went for you? Because you are a very successful artist and a lot of people know you. So yeah,
it's always funny when I hear that. Oh, you're a very successful artist.
Talking facts, man. So.
I'm like, yes, I designed my career very meticulously. But seriously, most of it was damn luck. Well, maybe not damn luck, but I was able to use my chances, if that's the right expression.
So the first works I have seen by you were these covers for Polish fantasy books. Were there your first real commissions you have taken up, or there was something before?
No, that was actually my very first paid client. Fabryka Swoop was the name of the publishing house, and I did a bunch of book covers for them.
Man, you made almost another market for only yourself. It was like every cover was, by you, and
I did a lot of covers for them because I did the first one, of course, I was super scared. Of, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I used like a bunch of photo references, just did it. I worked on it for like 2 weeks straight, I think. Back then, I was like spending a lot of time doing a lot of unnecessary details, and yeah, I was pretty stressed out by the first time I did it. And they liked it, and immediately they wanted another one and another one. And I think I worked with them for like 3 years on and off.
Wow.
But it was actually, I think it was a very good career move. I didn't know that back then, but when you do cover art for books, you can almost immediately show them to people, like put them in your portfolio.
Right.
And so when you're doing a lot of progress, especially at the beginning of your career, when you're picking up all those like what values do, what composition do. So you're doing a lot of progress, and you want to show that progress almost immediately to a client, to your potential client in your portfolio. So it was actually a great move, and I can recommend it. I cannot recommend it enough to people just to do book covers if they can. It's probably not gonna pay a lot of money at the beginning, but it's a great exposure.
Yeah.
I always,
That's so true.
Yeah, back to then there was no Facebook and all that stuff.
yeah,
I remember
it
stuff
was,
were mostly on DeviantArt, right?
yeah,
And,
exactly.
Yeah. The
And,
Polish board.
I remember it didn't pay a lot, but I always put everything I got in every single cover because I wanted to show off my stuff, and especially since it was like first money, I wanted to really deserve it. And yeah, I did for them for like a year almost exclusively, and yeah, most people started like actually liking my stuff. I always prepared like, except for the portrait version of the cover, I always do like a horizontal version, even extended a little bit with some extra work on the side, just so people can put it on their wallpaper.
Yeah.
Because it was like yeah, it was a cool thing, and I always got tons of images like, hey, I saw that image on the DeviantArt and I put it on my wallpaper. And I think it's freakishly awesome. Yeah, I think I got one of the clients said to me like, I saw that image on my friend's desktop and I loved it. And I asked who did it, and turned out it was you. So yeah, I'm contacting you.
Oh, that's a perfect marketing move, right?
Yeah, exactly. So just make your images like absolutely stunning every time, even if money is not that great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I still remember going to the bookshop in Poland. We have that bookshop called Empik, and I just was walking through, and whenever you entered the fantasy section, like the
Yeah.
fantasy book section, you saw only Marek's covers.
Yeah, I sometimes just hang out near the Empik and just, look at my stuff, honey. It's just my images, but nobody cares. Nobody, oh, that's yours, man. That's so awesome. So yeah, nobody did that, unfortunately.
Okay, I need to tell some truth. I bought some of your books only for covers. I didn't read it, really.
If we are doing confessions, I must say some of the stuff on the cover actually didn't happen in the books. I just take a part of the book that I thought was interesting and just emphasized it on every single level. Like, there was a girl holding a grenade in one scene of the book, and I just spin into this like snipers aiming at the girl that disarming the grenade. Yeah, sorry guys, that scene didn't happen in the book. I emphasized it. That just.
I still remember. Yeah.
I wanted like every time I wanted to produce cool image, so yeah, I cheated a lot on those.
I still remember that painting. Is it the painting with like a girl standing with a grenade with a little yellow cape?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah,
exactly.
that was so good, man. Back in the day when I was just thinking of doing concept art, I was so like. That was one of the images, like you and Maciej were the main guys from Poland that influenced me.
Oh, I'm
like
sorry.
pushed me towards.
Then I definitely was not one of the guys from Poland. Maciej definitely was. I was so not.
Oh man, but yeah, I perfectly agree with Wojtek, because I don't know the one person that don't know your work and weren't inspired in the
Yeah.
Oh man,
back.
thank you. That's nice.
And just it's true, because if you go on the Polish board like in Max 3D, and everyone was waiting for your new topics, you know, like 3-4 years ago, and it was like a huge boast when you posted it. And yeah, everyone, okay, I want to paint like you. And the first thing that I showed from you was dogfight. Dogfight.
Oh yeah, I remember that one for
Yeah, it was like one of your first big pictures,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And
It was
then
done
I just thought to myself like, oh fuck, it's not painted. And then I just go to the shop and you know, bought a pentagram tablet, and I realized I can't draw, and what what I'm going to do with my life now. And I had some talks with you on Communicator, and you talked to me like, okay, Darek, don't become an artist. It's really hard. And I didn't listen, and that's why I'm. Yeah, and
that's something like that. That doesn't sound like me.
yeah, it was like you know, like 5 years ago or something, when I was doing some one of my biggest picture, and you were, you know, just giving me feedback, and it was like, okay,
it was
Darek.
just so bad. It was just so
No.
bad. Marek just tried to say, "Oh, he's
No,
like,
I-
no, don't do it, don't do it."
I'm really horrible at giving feedback because I just don't hold at anything. I'm just saying in your face, stop drawing such a complex images when you can't draw a stupid square, for the love of God.
But actually, Marek is so good at giving feedback. He's well known for creating tutorials for Polish artists on Max 3D and stuff. Max 3D is the Polish forum for
The biggest
people
one.
that do CG art, and yeah, he's also he's always helpful, and he's giving a lot of a lot of knowledge out, and so it's really helpful to see that value tutorial that you did and how you helped people on the forum. So it's actually not true that we are bad at giving feedback.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Again, I'm just very, very direct with that stuff because, well, I don't like wasting time with sugarcoating. Do you want to have some knowledge? I can drop something on you, but it's not necessarily going to be pleasant. That's why
Yeah.
I don't do live demos, because I'm afraid I'm going to slip something up, and you know. I cannot
No worries,
take it
man. You can
back.
be yourself here. You can be yourself here. That's the place to do it, actually.
It's a
Yeah.
safe zone.
Okay, so maybe let's try talking about your further career moves, or maybe actually let's get back to where it has all started. When have you thought, okay, I want to do concept art, I want to do illustration? How it has all started for you, and when it was exactly?
Oh yeah, I have a moment like that actually in my life. I was finishing college, so I was pretty old. I was laughing up. Sorry to digress, but I was laughing up at the band session that you did like 2 sessions ago, and he said something like, "Oh yeah, I started late, like in high school." And I was like, "Seriously, guy? I'm like 24, and I was just doing manga." And I started doing something more recent. And you in high school? Seriously? That's late? So yeah, that's reality right now. But again, back to the question. I was finishing college. I was working at the time in marketing. I was like designing websites and like promotional posters and stuff like that. Nothing with painting, more like Photoshop composing stuff. And I did the Witcher fan art, like the very, very first game fan art. Can you see me actually like flipping through websites right now, or is it just locked on my Photoshop?
Yeah, just
You would have to turn off the screen share and turn it on
I
again.
have to show it. Yeah, I know how it works. Okay, I'm gonna have to show it to you. It's so bad. It's just so bad.
It's actually really helpful. If
Yeah,
you
I
would
love
just-
showing my old stuff. It's just so hilarious.
I want to see some of that manga stuff. I drew manga for a long time as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. I have all in my DeviantArt stuff.
I looked through your DeviantArt. I didn't see any manga in
It's
there.
there.
Come
It's
on,
there.
I just looked away. Let me just share it. Yeah.
I will. For those of you that are watching, go to the Facebook event page, and I will share the link with you so you can scroll and check it out by yourself.
Okay, that should work. Okay. And yep. Aha!
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Which year is this?
This is, my friend, 2005.
Nice.
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That was like pretty, yep, because this is like comic-y thing.
Nice, man. Fuck.
This is my first, like, I want to do it realistically.
Yeah. And you used rim lights everywhere.
Yes, and particles. That was my first, like, oh yeah, particles. I can do this. There's a brush that scatters dots. That's amazing. So I did that, that image, and somebody from CD Projekt Red actually wrote email to me that, oh, that's so cool to see some fan art about Witcher.
Oh.
I got so pumped up. I was like, yes, I'm the king of the world. And I actually wrote back to them that, you know, guys, you see my portfolio, and that portfolio or those images I'm showing to you. You see my portfolio. If you are interested in like me doing some concept art for you professionally, you know, I can do them. Just let me know. So yeah, I was pretty like, yeah, I can do that stuff easily, right? Yeah, I didn't hear back from them, but I kind of knew back then that I definitely want that career. I would kill myself if I do code, because I did college in computer art, so I was like programming, and I knew that if I would have to program for the rest of my life, I would kill myself.
What the fuck? This is so awesome. How come I've never seen this?
Are you kidding me? This is like
yeah, but this is not on your main, like, you have to go to browse all or something on your DeviantArt or something.
Probably, but yeah, that's like my manga years.
That's excellent. I'm glad that you leave it all up there, you know, that you're not, people tend to just delete everything they're not happy with anymore, even stuff that's, you know, good sometimes.
Why would you do that? That's part of my history, that's so cool.
Yeah, true, yeah.
So yeah, that was the moment when I wanted, I knew that I wanted to be, well, maybe not a concept art by then, but like do art for a living.
Yeah.
Not necessarily manga, but yeah.
So we are still going back in time, right?
Yeah. That's like, let me say, this is like the. This is the second image I did on digitally.
Nice.
Second one.
So
yeah, Sailor Moon fan, big Sailor Moon fan. So yeah.
So you already knew how to use dodge in there.
Yes. Aha! You spotted it. It was definitely the technique. My technique back then was so. You wouldn't believe it. I didn't use any layers. I just like draw it offline by hand, scan it, and just feel every single every space between the lines. Just feel it with the fill bucket. And
really?
Yeah, that's
ugly edges everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I scanned like super huge resolutions and everything, just make it like nice and good looking. But back then it took me like 2 months to do one image. So freaking long. But yeah, I thought I'm pretty good at it, but I was not. I was so not.
Well, actually, to be honest, I think these images are on the level that you find in a lot of manga comics. Actually, some comics are poorly drawn, even.
Yeah. That's actually, I can agree, but still, it was, well, not what I thought it was.
Yeah. Oh, that Crysis one, man! I remember looking at that.
Oh yeah. That's a jailbait.
That's not ages ago. Fuck. That got really popular, didn't it?
Yeah, because it was Final Fantasy and you know, things and feels.
Yeah.
feels.
And almost nipples.
Yeah, and I got so many comments like, "Whoa, why are you so flat-chested?" Shut up, man! It's real. Never seen.
I don't think Crysis didn't have very large boobs. She had like Selfie had very large boobs.
Exactly. That's just realistically gravity working on fat tissue, you dumbass.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's how it was. But as you can see, I actually switched from like manga cell shading to more realistically after The Witcher.
Yeah.
Even this is just like me trying to do more of the realistic stuff, and that was the dogfight, the first big image I did for CG Talk Spectacular contest. Okay, but I'm digressing from overpainting.
No. It's actually pretty.
No, man, go ahead.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I think people appreciate that you're showing all that stuff and actually talking about every piece. So yeah, when exactly have you started working professionally in terms of like these pieces you are showing us?
Yeah, this is still pre-paid work. Like I didn't get any money for this. That was just me practicing.
Okay.
Like this, I used photoplate and just painted the ships. Trying. I think it was like one of the first time I actually used like full plate photo.
Okay.
This is like for me. When I looking back at it right now, I think that image was pretty out of my league when I did it.
Yeah.
Good right now, but to be modest.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it
Yeah,
is.
that's true. And it
It's
took only 4 hours, right?
Yeah, because I had a plate, and I think values actually came to me like instantly. So yeah. Every now and then, everyone does an image that is just out of his league. I have no idea how I did it. Because this one is that's so much. Another manga.
Add some fire.
And this one was pretty big one.
Yeah, man.
I was really happy with this, like on a concept level, even how the image works. I like it right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the rhythms and like the sense of movement in there.
I see it a lot with artists. Like me and Wojtek were working at another artist, looking at another artist recently. I forgot his name, but Wojtek will know who I'm talking about. And just suddenly you can see with some people that just over one painting, this little light bulb goes off in their head.
Yeah.
You know? Like they just understand something suddenly, and after that, the level of their work just goes up a notch. It's really weird.
Yeah, sometimes you.
I know what it's called. It's got a name. It's called Level Up.
Epiphany.
Oh, yeah.
That's
It took a little while for people to laugh because it was such a clever joke. They had to think.
Very clever. So yeah, this is another image I spent like months on because this one was like very. I like this angel design.
Yeah, it's nice.
I put a lot of thought in my images that you cannot really see, but I had like a whole plan for how this like bionic armor works and everything. I always try to incorporate somehow those ideas, but I wasn't that good at presenting them on canvas back then. So yeah, this image right now I think it's pretty flat, but still decent looking.
Yeah, I mean, you were getting a lot of dynamic or dynamism in your work very early on, I think. Like, really nice dynamic compositions. Do you remember your influence? Like, was it movies, or did you see something that suddenly... Like, how did you get into the cinematic sort of...
Always was a big movie buff. I liked watching movie. I don't think I had, like, those one moment when I wanted to, I don't know, mimic something. I didn't like empty spaces on my images. That sounds like so bad right now, I know that. But as you can see, like this image, every single empty space, like, oh, choppers, yeah, more choppers, yeah, like fighters, bombs, yeah, more engines, explosions. Exactly. So not... So no single empty space is like ever free here. I don't know. I did a lot of like adjusting of my images. Like my images, even now in my career, all my images come together very late at production stage. Everything is a mess until like the last couple of hours. So
but that's because you know what you're doing, right? Like you're confident what you're doing. If you have a vision, then it's okay.
It's actually totally opposite what you just said. I have no idea what I'm doing most of the time.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't believe that.
I'm messing with you a little bit, but I'm a strong believer that you have to have like good foundation in like knowing your values, knowing a composition, knowing how to build a shape and like a volume of an object. And I didn't have that. I did not have any training whatsoever.
I disagree. I think you didn't have it on like a level of learning it, like a technical, or let's call it theoretical level, but you had it subconsciously, like you had it as a sort of instinct, you know.
Yeah. I when I won second prize on a CG contest for this image, I think. Yeah, that was the one. I did the second prize, and it was a whole collection of Gnomon workshops.
Oh,
Like
nice.
30 DVDs or something like that. That was such a knowledge bomb, and I was like, "Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, that's what I call instant composing manipulation." And that was just like a theory about composing stuff, and people were using since 15 ages ago and something like that. So yeah, I didn't know stuff. I came to most of it on my own through a lot of iterations, and everything I came to my own stuff that was already explored. And I was so mad at myself at the time, like, God damn it, man, just educate yourself. It's not a rocket science. It all has been discovered ages ago by people smarter than you.
Yeah.
But you weren't ever afraid of trying something, hard, complex scenes, as you previously
It's
saw
the
us?
passion of drawing, right? You're just so obsessed with drawing that you don't care. You just make new stuff.
Yeah, I'm scolding people for right now for doing that. Like, how can I level up quickly? And I always say, don't do complex drawing, man. That's just gonna bury you for a long time. Do simple stuff, master it, and then move on to something more complex. Because with complex images, it's hard to pinpoint what is not working.
Yeah.
And when you do something simple, I can tell you that, oh, your values are wrong, your edges are wrong, the composition is not working out. But if you do a lot of complex stuff, it's just sometimes hard to start explaining what you did wrong because it's just so many things that doesn't work. So yeah, don't do like I did, just do it smarter.
Yeah, that's what we're here to share.
Anyway, that was the first paid image I did, the book cover for the Fabrica Stools. I went to a church, have a photo shoot of inside of the church. Those archers are from a photo, those benches, and just painted those guys.
In perfect scale.
Exactly. Look at how short this guy is. Come on. Just so short. But he had to fit on the cover. Yeah. It's just hilarious when I look at it.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah,
so yeah, then I did some fan arts like Silent Hill 5 that wasn't out back then, but I just wanted to do something cool. Another cover, like a cover series I did with those faces. My romance with the Nibris game, quote developer, unquote. But we produced some cool stuff back there. Anyway, I'm just not gonna bore you with that because.
No, it's really cool.
No, go ahead, keep it.
Yeah.
Seriously, like me talking all the time. Blah blah blah.
It's
awesome.
Motivating, man. So
Yeah.
Let's move forward a little bit, maybe.
Oh
this
yeah,
the train picture.
Yeah, it's like a breakthrough point, kind of.
Rain, yeah.
The rain one, yeah. Yeah, this one was pretty good also, yeah. Like it still.
Yeah, it's
one of those out of my league's images.
So perfect right now. You have over 170 print requests in DeviantArt. It's quite a lot.
Yeah, I don't do prints. I don't know why. I just never felt.
Yeah.
Man, you should sell prints. It's actually good to sell prints. I've made a lot of money from prints on DeviantArt. Surprised how many people would buy it. And it's really...
I'm not interested in money, no. I'm just one of those people.
Well, maybe you don't have to be now anymore.
Anyway, that was like first or the second image I did for actually someone from outside Poland. Imagine FX magazine, like my first tutorial for them. And another image that took like a month to develop, but I was super proud of it because I wanted to focus on this one on like storytelling elements, which I always like to put in my images.
Yeah.
And this one was like a lot of work, but a lot of positive feedback from people. Like people really liked it, like to, describe the narrative that is behind this image, so that like imagine what can be happening here. Yeah, I like this one too.
Yeah, you always was like a storyteller on your pictures. You played with the light also and the shadows.
Yeah.
To create the mood and the exact scene, to show the story of it. So this is like the picture that you show us. previously.
Yeah, exactly. It's the same with this one, another book cover. That didn't happen in the book, this thing, yeah, but never mind. And yeah, people like that image like a lot. I think that was like the most popular image in my DeviantArt.
It's because the storytelling is so strong, you know. There's such a strong message behind it.
Yeah,
And
I like to mask my my flaws, like the things I wasn't able to paint correctly. I usually mask it with like a strong storytelling or strong subject or just particle effects, if you didn't notice. So yeah, I think it's a good, you know, everyone has like some flaws in his techniques. It's good to know that you are not able to do something and just try to mask it with something that you are actually good at. Nobody is perfect in their technique. Just make sure you play your cards right. Yeah, that's the right expression, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good advice.
So let's move on. This is some book cover, some speed paints. This one was another book cover. Like,
yeah, I see this
The
one.
boobs again. The boobs again.
Yeah.
Those
So,
Yeah.
The nipples.
so for these complicated scenes, what would you say was your basic workflow? Have you started with a plate? Have you started with like sketches? What exactly happened in your head when you were creating those?
I usually start with, even till now, just like really basic sketch, like even outline some super basic values. I'm trying to recreate, because I have it in my head. I always have image in my head, unless it's a speed paint. But with like more developed images, I always kind of develop them in my head, think about them, and then try to match with like really quick value sketch what I have in my head and what will work out, you know, on the canvas, because it's not always like, oh, I have 3D scene in my head, but it doesn't always translate right in to the canvas painting, because you have like limitation and everything.
Yeah.
So I usually do a lot of those like tiny sketches. Lately, I started to do even the small like color ones, just to check my colors, picks that my color or picks would be good together, like they're gonna work out in the end. I didn't do that. I didn't do them back in those years, but right now I know better to just. It's easier to think in like 1 hour or 2 hours in speed painting, like small thumbnail sketches, color ones, than just repaint everything in later stage, because you're gonna lose so much details.
Yeah.
And so much time. So like with this one, I played a lot, like where to pose characters, how to, you know, angle those characters to counterbalance this big arch thing in the background, this building, so, you know, everything kind of flows and runs together.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's basically it's my work for even till now. I don't use photos at the beginning, like almost never.
Mhm.
I usually put them like later in the process, because I don't know, sometimes using photos can like really limit your choices. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of stuck with the photo you pick, and you're thinking, okay, I have to match this photo to, you know, I cannot put that character right there because it's gonna mess up my awesome plate and something like that. I don't know, I like paint stuff, so I'm trying to do as much painting within an image as I can. So I usually do the first concept phase. It's only me and like a simple square brush and just me blocking stuff, trying to get the right composition and everything. And after that, I'm just collecting photo to match actually what I did with my sketch.
Okay, so it's the same with idea that you sometimes you are searching for some reference to catch the mood, or you are just you know, immediately sketch out the things that you have on your mind and trying to match the colors from photos you find, or trying to be inspired by documentaries, some photos, or, you know, some things that you saw.
Well, I usually start like with some photo research, but it's not like, it's like you said, it's more for
it's not like for your restriction, right?
Yeah, it's just for my head, the reference for my head, so I know how thing works. For example, if it's, of course, if it's a subject that I know, I just usually go for it immediately. But I like to, you know, kind of like with this image, the Age of Ra, I kind of wanted to see how the invasion in the sandy terrain, like really dusty terrain, would look like. So I looked at a bunch of like Desert Storm images, like the tank division moving towards the land and stuff like that, how they dust everything. And I built from that. I tried sketching how I'm gonna pose everything, like, and so on. And actually, this one is, I found once in the blue moon, you find image that actually fits perfectly to your sketch. And that was the case with this one. I actually find absolutely awesome plate for a soldier, front soldier, and I overpainted, and it looks pretty decent, I guess.
Yeah.
So generally, I really like painting stuff. I know like a lot of artists do a lot of photo bashing, and of course, when I work on the movie and I have to do like a shitload of iterations in a short period of time, then yeah, of course, I'm gonna do photo bash. But whenever I can, I just paint. Because I don't know, I like it. I know it's slow, it's retro, and it's not cool.
So you still have some traditional spirit in yourself.
Yeah, even though I never did traditional paintings, I like to. I just, if it was up to me, it was just be me and that damn squared brush and one layer, and just let's go for it.
Just hours and hours and hours.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it's about a journey, not a goal, right? It's more about being there and painting.
But
So
with like professional stuff, it's a it's a compromise. You get paid for it. It's not always something you would like to paint. It's some days it's just the work, right? You have to do it. So you use photos to speed stuff up because more interesting images awaits.
Yeah.
You're trying to do as fast as you can, as good as you can with the budget you have.
Okay.
Okay, we're moving along. This was, I was pretty good in my career back then. I had like a couple of book publishers working with me. This is for Solaris Books, I think. That was for a card game for Sony Online Entertainment, yeah. So yeah, I was pretty happy with myself. I always wanted to like land some sort of more concept art gig by then because I did a lot of illustration and not that much concept art. And right about, I think that image changed a lot in my life. So this is Warhammer cover book I did, and it landed on Expose cover. If you don't know what Expose is, it's like a book for collector's art book stuff. Yeah. So anyway, that image got pretty popular, and like months later, got me my interview with Naughty Dog.
Oh,
yeah, but
that's the turning point.
No, it was not. Thank you. Turning point, what I was for me, Crytek. It's not here because of course, I wasn't able to show my stuff like immediately when I work on it. Only after the game was released. But it was, I think, 2010 or 2011 when somebody, I'm not sure right now if it was Maciej or somebody from Crytek that contacted me, that Maciej recommended me. Anyway, I got picked up by Crytek to do some freelance stuff. And finally, it was a concept art for Crysis 2. And it was so awesome. I loved everything about it. Because it's like military future stuff. I just live and breathe by it.
I love your enthusiasm, man. It's great.
Yeah, he's really passionate about it.
Oh, come on, guys! You have those memories when you achieve like a level up in your life. So I have this moment when I got the contact from people like Crytek, and hey, we saw your stuff, we love it. We want you to do a concept art for us. And I was just on cloud 9, listening to music, walking through the street, and I'm like, yeah, finally! Full-time gig at a game company, yes. Of course, it was freelance stuff, like remote stuff. I was in Poland and just working for them, but oh my god, that was so awesome. So freakishly awesome. And again, like futuristic design, robotic stuff, always like that. A lot of destruction. Come on, that's me. That's like Particle Man destroying everything around. So it was right up my alley.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really liked working with them. I think it was like a year, almost a year almost a year, like 12 months. I did, of course, a couple of promotional pieces for them, like this one that got super popular. I saw that image like everywhere. And I got a lot of feedback from Maciej back then that taught me a lot about concept art, because I was doing mostly, like almost exclusively illustrations, and concept art is not this. It's not the same thing. You're painting images here and there, but it's like a different approach, because with images you kind of like, especially if you do like a promotional art for a game, you sort of at the end of the pipeline, when you have all the designs ready for them, you just have to use them properly, right? You have to like use them in a creative, kind of cool way. But when you do concept art, you are at the very beginning of this pipeline, and you actually have to come up with like cool ideas and present them correctly. And it's not always about execution of those ideas. Like, you don't have to paint every single detail, every hairstroke perfectly. The design has to work. It has to be good. So it took me a while to sort of transition from this way of thinking about stuff. Like, it doesn't have to be pixel perfect. It just has to be thought through. And yeah, Maciej really taught me a lot back then about, like, with his feedback about my stuff. And yeah, I came after that with like a lot of good experiences, a lot of thoughts, a lot of experiences. I use that word again. No. Anyway, I knew a lot more back then. Let's leave it like that. And after that, I knew I wanted to mix this illustration thing with concept art a lot more, because I kind of liked it, because those are two different words. And every like couple of images, I wanted to work a couple of months on concept art. And when I got bored with that, I wanted to do some images, like promotional images. And after that, some concept art. And thankfully, all my clients line up kind of like that. Kind of like, you do a couple of months of concepting for a movie, and then I do a couple of promotional images for a game or something like that. It's a fun ride. I really like mixing those things up. You don't get like bored with one thing, or just like tired of one thing. It's a mixing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot of talking, guys. Come on, let me paint something up and just ask me short questions. We're gonna move on from Crytek later on, okay? Just let me catch some break here.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, it's so important to switch the task up. Like, I saw a couple of artists like stating some of that on Facebook, that they actually need to take break from work to do actually something for themselves, to keep the fire going inside of them, so they can be excited for the upcoming work. Because still, when you're doing only work for like half a year, it tends to slowly, maybe if you're not painting what you actually want, and if you are forcing yourself, it tends to make you a little bit less motivated towards the whole thing. And I find it really hard to balance it out, actually. So there's some work, right? And there's some, I don't know, something you want to do, an exploration, a fan art, whatever. It's up to you. But I think it's a really good point that Mark made. It's so important to mix it up. If you are getting clients and you are not losing motivation, then it's perfect. But if you do, try mixing it up.
Yeah, and that's also good if you have the right of choice, that you can take up the one subject or another, and then if you do something that you really maybe not like that much, you still can balance your timeline and schedule to just find a bit of time to do something for yourself, and
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know when you're starting working on things, you just want to grab any job you can grab your hands on, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, somebody's offering me something. Oh, I'm gonna take it. But I think it's important that you try to make smart choices. Like, starting and you want to show your progress, don't take like almost immediately. Yeah. I think it's better to just work on your own portfolio with your own ideas. than to take like some project that you're not gonna get paid that much money and you won't be able to show it off for like a year or a year and a half. Just not worth it. It's not worth the time. It's important to get like constant feedback, especially at the beginning at your and just to feel connected with people and they tell you what they like, what they don't like. I always like that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
So yeah, you see me overpainting right now, right?
Yeah, it's great, man.
Okay.
It's really nice to see how you fix everything roughly.
Yeah.
Let's get this show on the road.
It's a lot of questions on the chat already, so maybe we can start pick it up if you don't mind, Marek.
Sure, let's try that.
So maybe let's start with that one. How do you balance your work time with taking care of your health and of yourself, generally?
Okay, so what I understand is taking care of my home.
Taking care of your health.
Ah, health. Sorry.
Yeah.
Home.
It's pretty important, I think.
Taking care
Of my home, yeah.
your kurva.
Yeah, you have to take care of your home constantly because shoot, sleep on you, man.
Yeah, just shut up.
Bitches are crazy.
Okay, I will shut up.
No, just joking.
Goodbye.
No, just joking. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm not good at this balancing game, to be honest. Especially after my child was born, it's just my work time and just balancing took a dive towards the earth because it's just so hard to do that. You have to find your time for your family, for your friends, for everything. I don't know how people do that. Like Maciej the other day said, like, oh yeah, I'm balancing my friends and my free jobs and my family and my jiu-jitsu lesson. I'm like, what? Come on! How do you do that? But yeah, I guess what I learned through my son that he's like a little time vacuum that no matter how much time you put into him, he wants more and more. You have to separate like clean, sharp lines between your work and between your life and your work. Like you have to be like you have to have like a schedule and you have to stick to it like no matter what. I know you'll try to some adjusting, but I actually found the place outside my house to work from because it was impossible with a kid around. It's just like little time stealer. And I had I said, I have to work like 8 hours a day at least. Just I have to do it. No matter what, I have to have like a job. I cannot do this from home when I'm distracted every 5 minutes. So I guess you can use it. Same thing for health. You just have to. In better days before the kid, I actually worked out a lot, like running and stuff, everything. Right now, it's hard to balance family and work, and not to mention anything else, even though I try. So yeah, you have to have a schedule. Even if you're working like a freelance artist, you have to have like a list or something. And this is the hours I'm working. This is the hours I'm exercising. And this is the hours I have for free time and exploration and Facebook. Yeah, that's most what I do.
Yeah, it's really important for all of the artists and to be in, some kind of fit to just, to have fresh, if your body is in health,
Yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Your mind is also, more fresher, and sometimes you have to go out and meet some people or just, as you said, like running or something, because we are all only people. We are not machines. So yeah, we have.
It's super hard, especially when you're doing your first 10,000 hours, like you're burning through.
Yeah, man, I know it. Yeah, it's really hard.
I remember, like in early days, I was just painting constantly, and I mean, like, whoa, crazy hours. Like, just when Crysis gig came up, I was sleeping like 3-4 hours a day. I was so freakishly busy and just trying to do good job. I was crazy hours. And I have some back problems from it even till now. Like a dumbass back then.
Yeah, and it also shows that you are very, ambitious about your job.
Yeah, it's stupid because I really should like every day an hour on an hour or even a half an hour, just something for movement. Just don't give your back a break. Just take a 5-minute step back from your monitor every like an hour. Just collect your thoughts, move a little, don't like constantly, because it's, no matter if your chair is ergonomic or whatever, your back will hurt. Just like crazy. Sitting is not a position for people.
Exactly, it's really important to move. So that some of the people are also trying to maybe a standing position, but it also, you know, like it's very, very hard for the back.
Yeah, generally, from what my doctor said to me, your back should move now and then, just even so slightly. Just move it, move it, move it, move it.
Yeah, yeah, we all have, you know, some kind of maybe problems, but it's not the time maybe to talk about it, to not dismotivating people. But yeah, it's really important to take care of yourself, and you know, just moving, as you said, and simple exercise you can do also on your chair. So it's not like it's only up to you. And if you are getting older, you will just, you know, you will see if you did it, if you know that time was right for you, if you know done a good job with exercise and all that preparing stuff.
Exactly. So keep on exercising, kids.
Yep.
Mark, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing right now? What exactly are you fixing? And
yeah, I think I'm done with this image because I don't want to focus too much time on one single image here. So yeah, as I said, first things I noticed, like composition needs to be a little bit balanced, so I put this negative space here to emphasize this ball and light. Those guys have like way too busy outfits. I think somebody tried, like, this is bounce light, but I don't think grass would actually bounce that many light, especially if those uniforms are so dark. So they should be way simpler within this light. And you know, some reflections here on the helmet. Actually, I think those uniforms should be red, maybe, or not this greenish yellow thing, because they don't read well next to this yellow or this green background.
Yeah, they blend into the environment.
Exactly. So, I would definitely, if I had more time, repaint them in like different colors, or at least add some accents of different colors, something like that.
Yeah, and it also shows that some of the basics that you mentioned in your value tutorial, it's like, you know, you have much more freedom and space to put some highlights or some focal points if you have everything in the mid-tone.
Not like, exactly, you know, like what I did with the grass. See?
Yeah, it's all like highlighted, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So I put it back, actually back into like darker areas. This way, this part is like way more realistic. Like you have sunlight coming through, and it actually shows that this stuff is way brighter than this grass. So yeah, I think if I had more time, I would actually put more interesting poses to those guys. Like maybe this guy is trying to touch this ball because he's like that. What is he doing? Why would you touch it? And this guy is like trying to stop this guy. No, don't touch it, man. It's gonna break out. I have to touch it, man. No, don't do it. I have to. Hey guys, what are you doing now? Stop screwing around. So yeah.
It would be awesome. Script writer also, right?
So yeah, that's what so that's what I would do. But for now, I think I'm gonna save it. Yeah, just change color of the uniforms, and I think that's it for this one.
Awesome.
Cool, man.
Okay, let's pick another.
So there is some question that it can be referred to the previous picture. Like, what about the anatomy of the characters? Is it hard? It's for your question. It's for your question, Mark.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you have any tips for people that are struggling with it?
If you are struggling with anatomy, don't use 3D reference. Don't use Poser. It's just gonna fuck you up. I did that, and I seriously don't recommend it. You may think it's gonna help you, but it's not. The Poser itself has so many. What's the word I'm looking for? Like they cheat a lot because it's really like it's not actual body. It doesn't bend like actual body. So what I can recommend, just use a lot of reference and practice, because I have problems with human anatomy, a lot of problems. I have such a huge problems with the faces that it's ridiculous. Like the last the image I did for with the redhead, the last, the greenish one, when
Yeah.
like Last of Us inspired. That face, it's a week of work.
What?
It took me a week of repainting, painting. I wasn't happy with it. I was
You are
so
awesome, man.
frustrated with it. I
Oh.
took a lot of work, but it was a fun art, so I could afford it. Like to take a week of just scribbling, adding stuff, and nah, that's not it, and nah, that's not it. But finally, after that week, I was like, okay, yeah, that's something workable. It kind of looks like if you squint your eyes and just look at different.
You have to be so patient to do that. Actually, I get so frustrated if something is not like getting out immediately that you have to have these extra amounts of juice. It's just
Yeah. But generally, don't get like discouraged if the anatomy is not working for you, because it's like one of the hardest things ever in painting.
takes
Not only
years.
digital painting, just general painting. People devote their whole lives to that one subject.
That's
Just
true.
to paint like realistic looking characters, and so the poses look natural and stuff like that. It's super hard. Like, I know a lot of super talented artists that are doing absolutely stunning environments, but they just suck at characters, like super suck. They can put like little stick figures just on the mountains, looking in the distance, but that's it, nothing else. So yeah, it's super hard, but don't do 3D if you don't know what you're doing, because it can really it can mess you up. That's advice, I guess.
Yeah, I think that it's likely you can lose all the feeling of the body and the curves itself, like just the basic knowledge of how the works, how the body works, and how the shapes are, how the all the tendons work. It's not like we should know like a deeply knowledge, but some basics are very very good for yourself. You can
Yes,
be
I would
much
say
faster in the future if you are doing some work with characters. So that's it.
I would say it's absolutely necessary to know like a basic human anatomy and what bends and why does it bend and why does it look like how it looks. I always love how you can like disassemble human body into those simple shapes, like, oh, this is just an oval, and this is like a sphere, and this is like a cone. And if you follow those like basic shading principles that you use on doing simple exercising with art, you can actually take that knowledge that you got from those exercises and use it in super complex stuff like painting a character, because it's just like simple shapes, simple volumes, just constructed into something more complicated. Image I'm trying
So
to
can you explain us what is the picture that you are working on and what will you just change?
So this is pretty cool, like medieval sort of city kind of feel, and I will try to add a little more, add more atmosphere and depth to it, because right now it's pretty flat. Like, you don't have any consistent directional lighting and anything in here. It's just sort of it's full of detail, but not good with the basics. Like, not good depth perception, not such a good flow with it. So I will try to fix it. So yeah.
The values are in the wrong places. Like the bright values are in the
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. Like, used to have like super bright fog film. Why would it be so super bright? But let's just go from the top, maybe right here. So you have obviously some sort of moonlight which should cast like super sharp shadows, like something like that, let's say. And yeah, let's have some slight, like, some details in the shadows here, maybe but mostly lost because it's so super dark. But right away we have like I like using shadows just to some sort of emphasize shape of different things. Like, this sort of told you that this is super flat wall, but also builds it space. No, not space. Volume. That's the word I was looking for. So yeah, moonlight, super sharp shadows. And let's say this the sign is almost completely blend value-wise with the wall, so it should definitely be darker. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it reads against the bright background. So just placing the right contrast points.
Yeah. You have to keep in mind that dark, like night setups are like super dark. And if you want, it's good to know something about photography to recreate this sort of exposure effect. Like if you want fog to be that bright, this fire would be super bright in association with like exposure that would like you would like to achieve. Like even night sky with exposure like that I'm talking about taking photographs like this super bright, even though it's a nighttime, because it would be like very long exposure for a capture.
Yeah.
So it all comes to the values.
Values, always values. Practice
Yeah.
your values.
Yeah.
So this is again super quick. Just should be darker, probably more colorized to some sort of bluish haze. Just to give.
Do you do some value check, or I think that you don't need to, but
I probably should, but I'm usually too lazy to do that.
yeah, but it's also like you can also squint your eyes.
Yeah, I do it like all the time.
Yeah, it's really helpful for.
Yeah, actually, that reminds me, Mark, something that I want to ask you, a question from me. When you were doing the stereoscopic images, were you painting while you were looking stereoscopically, or were you just...
No, come on, who would do that?
I did. I mean,
Seriously?
otherwise you have to go in and out of it all the time, and your head just explodes.
Well, how do you do it? Oh, I basically figure out that you have to move some elements to the right and some elements to the left. So
you move them and then you check, you move, check.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly like that. Because it's not that complex, it's just
No.
elements.
No, but like if you look at the ones from what's his name? Oh man. You know, my memory's failing me right now.
Don't worry, I have like absolutely no memories for any names whatsoever. That haunts me, like people networking on the parties, and they say, "Oh, I'm this guy, and I'm doing this and that." I don't know who you are. Yeah, I know you just told me your name, but I have no idea how to call you. I'm sorry. I suck at this so much. No memories to names whatsoever.
Let me see. Oh, Theo Prince, you know him, right?
Probably he's the one that I actually took.
He does like super colorful.
Yeah. The environments, I love those.
Yeah.
So,
And he has a lot of stereoscopic paintings, and they're absolutely mind-blowing, man. Just like the planes, and because the funny thing with the stereoscopic stuff is, if you do it from a 2D image, it actually works stronger because you're creating like cards, stuff on cards.
Mm-hmm.
When you do it in real life, you have the perfect depth, you know? Every element has a perfect depth, but when you do it in Photoshop, it's just like flat planes, basically. So you exaggerate the effect. And he does it brilliantly, like with water reflections and stuff. It's just amazing.
Yeah. I love that, looking at those. It's like, what? 3D on the computer.
Jonas, can you post the link to his works on the Facebook event page?
Yeah,
so
sure.
we can see?
I'll do
I
it.
haven't seen those. I'm really curious what you're...
Well, you have to know how to do stereoscopic vision, and for some people can't seem to do it. I've tried it with a lot of people. Some people get like migraines and tumors and stuff.
Yeah, don't get tumor, man.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
For your health, just don't do it.
Okay, so I'm posting it now, so whoever wants to check it, and I will do it in the event page.
Anyway, I'm overpainting this. I'm trying to add some like more volume, more shape definition, more like light would hit this. Like this roof has some thickness to it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like
So it's like that you have the knowledge that you don't need to get to the references, that you know it already. So
yeah, to be honest, I really rarely use like photo stuff. That's why I'm not super happy with my works, but I really, a lot of my things is just painted. Sometimes I know it's wrong. I don't know. I like the flow of painting. I don't have to constantly check on Google Images how that would look or how this would look and how would this behave. I know I'm making a lot of mistakes, but I kind of like this flow when you're working. That's what you're doing. Nothing else.
Yeah, but using the light that you without references like you do is like knowing the basics from the nature also an observation, which is I think the key for us. It's like the gathering the photos for references.
Yeah,
The more important is like the observation and analyzing it. So we always talk about it on Level Up, and I'm sure that you think the same. So.
Well, maybe when I say I don't use reference, it doesn't mean I just take it out, from my ass. I just know how it works because I did like a lot of time.
Yes,
I have that reference in my head, like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and that's a precious knowledge. So.
Oh, it's very precious.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm fixing like some here to add like more atmosphere maybe. I fixed those frames because he used a photo here, but it's a photo of like a bonfire, and he put it in like a little, like a torch thingy, and just you have to watch for things like that. You have to be careful of things like that because it just doesn't look right if you use like these flames are just too small for a torch like that. It should be like the shape of the flames should be kind of different. And it's generally like with using photos, like look at those tiles. They are pretty okay in this area, in this area, but they should be way smaller if you use like perspective correctly.
Yeah, it's also a matter of using them and how do you blend, of course, because sometimes the textures or the photos that are put as a texture can be just too much contrast over the texture, and it's easily seen that some of the guy or some people use it like without the basics maybe knowledge or just being aware of it, how to use it.
This is basic perspective here. Look at the size of the tail.
Yes.
And here, this should be like way smaller up here because this is how I did like a super quick perspective layover. I think this is how it works in this image pretty much, something like that. So yeah, it should be perspective correctly.
Yeah. So first the basics. So what about the traditional drawing? What are your thoughts about it, Marek?
About traditional drawing, I like it. That's my thought. That's a very general question. So
yeah, what about this? Because you started right with sketching at first, as you told, and then scanning it into the.
Oh, that was like ages ago. Right now, I just do like a sketch on the canvas in the Photoshop. So just a quick sketch. I used to like do quick sketches in my sketchbook, but right now I like the freedom of undo and transform and all of that jazz. So
yeah, because some of the people are asking if it's good for them to start, learning on paper. So it's.
If you are like absolutely beginning, then yeah, it's like because if you're absolutely starting, then you have to learn Photoshop and you have to learn painting, and that might be a lot to take in at once. Because those are like, it's not for using Photoshop. It's not so natural for beginners as it might be for us when we like painted hours and hours. We spent in Photoshop days. I think I spent like a year of my life in Photoshop just alone. So it's a second nature for me. But for someone who is starting, I think it's a good idea to actually just use a pen and or a pencil and a piece of paper, because all you're gonna practice is values and shapes and basic stuff like that.
Yes. Some of the things that you can do on traditional way are, like essential for maybe introduce them into the Photoshop, or if you just feel that you lack of it, you can always be back and do some sketches on paper. It's like very cheap, very cheap medium, and you can do it wherever time you want. So.
Again, for some people it just might feel natural to use it like that, because it is way more natural than sort of this weird thing that I'm painting on a desk and looking at a totally different thing. So yeah, it gets used to it. I remember when I started using the tablet, it took me a while to get this sort of coordination that you need. Like one hand on the keyboard, other hand on a tablet, and you just go with it.
There is some interesting question to you, Marek. When did you start using brush bases as your artwork in your artworks?
Well, I started like very started with the ZBrush 3, I guess it was the third iteration back in 2006 or 7 or 8 or somewhere around that. But I bounced right off it because it was easy to sculpt, but it was kind of, if you have to retopologize something or just change like the density of your mesh, it was, you have to like create another mesh, then project your details on it, and then retopologize it, and like a lot of work. So I bounced kind of, because also you have to use ZBrush and some other software to render it, so it looks like decently. But when I saw on Feng Zhu blog, I think, some of the stuff that he did with Ben, like some gorilla concept, it was like last year. I was like, whoa, those guys are using it like way different than I thought. It's not only characters, but they were like shaping whole scenes with it, like using ZBrush to just concept whole scenes. And I was like, wow, you can do that right now? So I checked how the ZBrush 4.5, I think it was, working, and I discovered Dynamesh, and that just blew my mind. Because it's a tool that basically lets you play with 3D like you would do with clay, and just don't think about any limitation whatsoever. You just, if you need an extra polygon resolution, you just click and it's done.
Yeah.
So last year I took like a month and a half off, I think, and just do ZBrush stuff. ZBrush. And then I contacted my my people at Games Workshop, the guys that are doing Warhammer stuff, and people at Applebot that, hey, I can do some stuff for you for practice, for money, because I'm gonna practice my ZBrush stuff, and I know you're gonna pay me for it. So, I love you and value your work, and I did like a couple of images for them, like those two covers you saw lately. I published for Applebot, and like Warhammer design units and stuff like that. So this is like perfect ZBrush thing. Like you have to do a body armor for a character and just light it so you have shadows correctly. And yeah, that was pretty. I really started using it just last year. Previously, I was using 3D Max for like environment setups, like you block environment and just make sure your perspective is correct and everything. But again, that was 3D Studio. ZBrush just last year came into my pipeline, like in like a full spectrum, full usage. Okay, that was the question. Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Was it understandable what I was saying? Because I kind of get lost in my head.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It's actually it's harder than you think to paint and to talk. I thought it's like way easier, but it's so hard.
Yeah, we learned that during these 30 sessions, actually. Yeah, that's actually pretty hard.
It's in your genes, man. Some people can do it, some can't. It's like that weird thing that you can do with your tongue, or that some people can do with their tongue.
I have no idea what can you do with your tongue, man.
You know, like roll it up, you can roll it up into like a weird shape, and only some people.
Ah, there you go.
Come on, you can do it.
Everyone knows what I'm talking about, right?
Oh, exactly. But of you, Wojtek, educate yourself.
Yeah, I have to try it now.
You have to do the thing with your tongue that makes it look like that Polish food. What's it called?
Pierożki.
Pierogi.
Pierogi, yeah.
Oh god.
It looks like that.
It will look terrible though. It's not the best looking food in the world though,
But it tastes great.
Yeah, it tastes great.
So good. It's so good.
Yeah. So, Marek, you probably had opportunities to actually live outside Poland, right?
Yeah.
And you have been living in States for some time, am I right?
Yeah. I always wanted to work in the studio to sort of share this commodity of like people working on the same project. And since I was working alone since always, I really wanted to find out how it is to work with other artists. And I was looking for a place to go for like a year and a half, just sort of do some studio work. And it always happened with the Crytek and the Mathieu, but fortunately it didn't because he left Crytek like 6 months later. And I have some I think those MMO guys, people from like Canadian design companies and stuff like that. But I also wanted to work somewhere where it's warm, at least warmer than Poland. So the climate is right. And then Naughty Dog came in, and I was like, yes, Santa Monica, baby, let's do it.
That's the perfect place, right?
Come on, it was 2 years ago when I left, and I still can't get over it.
Yeah, I got some California sun as well, and it's unbeatable. Right?
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just awesome. So you have you are staying in Poland right now, right? And are you planning to go back to like studio kind of a job, or you're just getting that house mode on like freelance kind of lifestyle?
Right now, I kind of tied to my home because I don't want to miss like the time you spend with your child.
Of course.
My son is like a year and a half old, and it's just such a cute age. He's like every single week he's doing something new. I really don't want to miss that. And,
yeah, that's not worth it. Yeah, perfectly.
But after that, I'm thinking about maybe doing. It would be cool to work on a movie. I think because I never worked on a movie like on a set or like close to a set.
Yeah.
Not just remote work. I don't know if I will do another game studio because I don't think you can top Naughty Dog. Because oh my god, you guys have no idea how good it was there. You can watch like documentaries about Naughty Dog, and they all say, "Oh, it's a cool studio, man. Everyone is open to critique and everything, and we don't have like bosses. Everything is just open, and everyone can come in and just comment on your work, and you think, yeah, right, that's gonna happen like multi-million-dollar business. But I came there and it's actually like that. It's goddamn so good. Everyone just so open and friendly, and everyone can comment on your stuff, and you can comment on everyone's stuff, and just we didn't have any producers like at all. I was working directly under Bruce and Neil, the creative directors of The Last of Us, and it's just like feedback. They come to your desk, say what to say, voice their opinion of your work. You can voice some opinion of their work, and just amazing stuff. So I don't think it's doable anywhere else, because I heard stories from like other people that came to Naughty Dog from other companies that no producers. It's a very weird thing. Like no daily meetings. It's a very weird thing that you usually have to go through a lot of paperwork during your like working hours, and we didn't have any of that in Naughty Dog, especially concept guys, because we were so spoiled beyond imagination.
Awesome. Yeah, that's good to hear. Actually, there is a question about a very specific question about The Last of Us, because that's the project you have been working on when you were staying in California, right?
Yes, mainly, yes.
Okay, so the question goes like, in a big production such as Last of Us, how much concept art is made for the environment and how much is left up to the 3D guys themselves? Are there concepts made for like every little room? So basically, how much of the actual concept art is being made? Yeah, that's basically the question. Actually, how much concept art is being made by concept artists? Is there a room for 3D guys to actually come up with ideas?
So to answer short, there is a lot of concept art, like a lot, like a lot, and then some. But does that answer your question? No, I'm just
yes, yeah. So basically, everything Damn. Yeah, perfect. Everything should be designed, right?
Well,
Everything.
there was we got like level descriptions way ahead of time, and I got in. The project was like a year in the or in the year and a half in development already, and Maciej did a lot of awesome concept environment art for it. So we got like a level descriptions, like basically what characters would do. And the first iteration of concept art was just a blue sky. You just, how would you imagine this location looking like? And we just browse through a lot of references, just paint quick images like a daily concepts or 2 days concept, and that's it. And that would go for Neil and Bruce to like look over, go through like level designers to like do this. I don't know if you saw those like blocks, just white blocks of game elements that there is you have to have a wall there and you have to have a house there. You know, just block it. That's what it basically is. You have to block everything like games element. And those blocks would come back to us, to concept art team, and we would actually paint over so it doesn't look so blocky. Just the level design looks more natural. And you know, we do like those detailed concept art that you see mostly are the second iteration that is actually following the design of the level that level designers design. That's their job. And after that, the environment artists would try to replicate what we painted.
Yeah.
And of course, they had like their own input, like you cannot do that like in our engine, and we have to do something else with this. They usually, how do I say it? Well, they created a version of what you painted in your concept art. And after that, there's like a third iteration of concepting called callouts, that you actually take a screenshot from a build of the game and you paint over things that, nah, you have to fix it. It's just artistically, it looks bad, you have to fix it. Or you know, you use this texture here, here, and here, but you actually should use it here, here, and here. You know, stuff like that. So at this last stage, I think I wasn't. No, I did few callouts, but this last stage actually, thankfully, skipped my input in the game, because a lot of really boring work, because it's like you doing the same concept for the same level like the third time already. So you kind of burned out at this stage, but yeah, you have to do it because you have to have consistency with like throughout the level, so it match your artistic vision. And yeah, of course, the 3D guys, like the level designers, did like a fantastic job with those levels, because I knew how some of it gonna look because I saw everything beforehand. But still, I couldn't help but stop every now and then, just look at the scenery because it was so fucking good. So yeah, this I would say it's a lot thanks to the environment artists, and thanks to them, their input and their skills.
Yeah, I unfortunately I haven't played The Last of Us yet, but
Come on!
Yeah, it's such a terrible thing.
Yeah, Wojtek, that kind of guy.
Now I just hate you straight out.
Yeah.
You also haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, huh?
Yeah.
What?
And he thinks that cinematography is bad.
Does Game of Thrones has bad cinematography?
I think he just doesn't understand. It's too complicated for him.
Yeah, basically.
He's like a chart of every house and what they are doing at who is cool.
But don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that The Last of Us is bad. I just haven't played it. I have seen the trailer for the refreshed version for PS4.
Refreshed, with mint.
Sorry.
The fresh make.
Sorry.
Yeah, kind of honest. Yeah, I lost it. Never mind.
We lost it too, man.
No. So you're watching the remastered version, yes?
Yeah, and I forgot. Never mind, man. All right, let's pick some questions.
Yep.
Oh, any words on the level up competition? Do you? Okay, so actually we had some delay, and sorry for that. We are catching up with you right after this session. we will post an image with the direction, with the description of the contest, with the specific information that you need to enter it and stuff. So stay tuned. After the session, we have to make it happen. So
And let the session going on.
yeah. Okay, let's try a different one.
Yeah, it's nice overpaint.
Yeah, it's perfect, isn't it? Can you switch back and forth? First?
Yeah, just give me a second. I'm finishing this up.
Okay, sure.
People are also asking about some technical issues, like what brush do you use, what brushes do you use.
That's such
So
a cool
it's like
question.
regular question from all the,
We use this.
He was dropped.
No.
So let me inform him.
The big round one, the big softie.
Yeah.
Yeah, big soft brush kicking people out, right?
Angry brush.
Angry soft brush. Okay, let's.
Yeah, the question about brushes was so outrageous. I just have to quit the session.
What have I signed up for?
Yeah, it's not about the brushes.
No, but I have like a bunch of. If you want to say it's like a shitload of brushes that I never use.
Mm-hmm.
I took like one day. I took a couple of hours, actually named them. It's Polish names. It's not gonna help you. And name them. Just put like exclamation marks to the ones I like. Oh, I'm gonna use that a lot. But I have like a shortcuts on my F1, F2. I'm not F1, F2, F3, F4 keyboards for like 7 brushes that I like all the time. I use all the time, and like I do 99% of my work with them. Like this one is like nice, wee. Foggy one.
Soft but texture.
Yeah, exactly. I have one cloudy. Ooh, cloudy. So cloudy. I have one with like a foliage with a color like random colors. And I have like this is super, actually 50% of my work is with this round texture brush. Standard.
Actually, this is the best performance of the brush that our guest used.
Really? Yeah. This
Pretty
is like
practical.
This one is like for little dusty stuff or like a texture for something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is just a pretty basic setup, right?
Exactly. I don't use any fancy brushes. Most of that stuff is just taken straight from my chase tab. I don't think about it that much. Generally, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to technical aspects. I'm not the guy that invents new stuff like that. When I see something cool, I just take it from other artists and use it on my own way, in my own way. Because I don't know, I like painting. I'm telling that a lot, but that's what I like to do.
Yeah, and it's really visible in your artwork. I mean, it's really strong in a sense that it's really unified in terms of texture and painterliness.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time after I compose, like even with my ZBrush based images, I take usually an extra day to just paint over everything, even if it's full of crisp details. I usually destroy some of that stuff just to make everything consistent.
Yeah,
because consistency is like super important, because a lot of times when people use especially photo bash, they just bash photos, bash details, and some areas are like painted, and I just that stuff clashed so badly with me. Why would you even it out? For the love of God, don't leave it so raw. So yeah, I understand. I understand why you would use it in like a movie production, because telling you guys, the pace on movie production is just so quick, everyday iteration. So yeah, I understand why would you leave it like that in a movie production, but when you do like illustration or something like that, just take a moment and try to equalize everything. Yeah.
There's a really cool question from Gabe. From Gabe. What part of creating a painting you like the most? Thumbnailing, blocking in, detailing? That's the question to you, Marek.
I like the concept part, when you are the most creative stuff, because that's what every artist does. But I actually like this mind-numbing details. Like you go in and you just think, oh yeah, that wood panel would think, oh yeah, that's what I would do. Oh, look at this texture that nobody will see when I decrease the resolution. I don't know. I have like a little bit of OCD, I guess. That's what you should call it. And just calm my nerves. I can just like, drift away with this, like think about other things than painting, because at this stage it's just so automatic for me. I usually don't think too much about this. It's just like calming me down. Like people need like scars and everything. That's what I would do. I would like need details. That's why I like ZBrushing actually, because you can go like inside the 3D model and just sculpt every little crevice of the face and everything like that. It's just so relaxing. I don't know. Your mind wanders. But yeah, officially I like the concept part.
Of course you do, right?
No, yeah. So unofficially, I gotta like details.
Yeah. Yeah, you tend to tell a lot of the story by details only, right? So there is that first striking look of your piece, but then there is a room for you to actually go in and find out different stories in the picture. Like this is my experience with your paintings.
It's actually super. I think it's super hard to do that, and one of the reasons not many artists do promotional images, like marketing images, because you have to combine this first look striking stuff, like ooh, good contrast, oh I like that, that catches my eye, with like a balance of the detail, that everything has to flow together on like a macro scale and a micro scale. Like all the details have to be in place, but also image as a whole have to speak to you correctly. Holy shit! Oh my god, it's been 2 hours now. Oh, thank God. I thought it's too later. Sorry.
1.5.
No. We still have time. Ooh. So yeah, did I answer your question? I hope I did.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, last.
So this is the question that we always ask. If you had a choice, you would be rather billionaire or Godzilla? Oh man, he was dropped.
He left because of the question, right?
Okay. I'll be back soon.
Yep.
God damn it, Google Hangout.
Yeah.
Okay, so how much time do we have left? Like half an hour?
Another outrageous question.
Yeah. How was that?
It's technical difficulties.
Let's try it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, so if you had a choice, if you had a choice, you would be Godzilla or billionaire. Again, what the fuck?
I think he's painting a big haze from like the torches, and he just used a big brush and it kicked him. I don't think he's going to. Oh, there you go.
Darek, I think you discovered some sort of key question that turns off the hangout. Like, Xbox off! And it's like shutting down. So don't use billionaire.
Microsoft will sue us because of the pattern we used.
Don't use billionaire and Godzilla in the same sentence.
Oh,
What?
God,
No way.
Oh, that's too much.
No, he's doing it on purpose. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, God damn it.
So that was on purpose. But yeah,
That was
definitely would be a billionaire Godzilla. Like, just that, Because if you are Godzilla, you can be a billionaire. Why not?
Yeah, you can like buy yourself a car, right?
Well, I will try a city if you don't pay me $1 billion. So you're billionaire Godzilla. Easy. Oh, next question.
That's perfect. Okay, let's see.
Okay, let's do this.
If you had the time to work on personal projects, what would they be?
Hopefully you'll find out. Because I have something cooking up. Oh yeah, like, okay, can we go back to the question? I just go over this paint over really quick and talk about some more about personal projects.
Okay.
Shall we? Okay, so I try to build some depth here with like a fog.
Can you share the screen?
Oh, I'm sorry. You see my stupid face right now.
Yeah, and maybe if you can put the original next to the new one.
Just give me a moment. Give me one. Would you just stupid PC? Why don't you work on me? God damn you!
Dobrze.
Dobrze. So the guys were training you in Polish, huh?
Yeah, of course. You have to these days, apparently.
We're invading everything. Come on.
Yeah, man. Back in the 90s, there used to be a lot of Polish people in Belgium, and they would take like shitty plastering jobs for like money off the grid. It was fucking awesome. But now they have like fancy houses in London and stuff. It's just crazy, man.
Marek, we cannot see your screen. Sorry for the interruption.
Oh no problem.
Yeah, I'm working on it because it's like a technological issue.
Take your time, man.
Be good. Can you see it?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the original. This is the overpaint. Do you need it side by side? I can do it side by side.
Yeah, we can do it after the session. So we'll post. You can post it into the group so we can actually.
So anyway, first of all, sharp shadows from the buildings. I even tried to like very quickly mimic sliver of moonlight hitting the floor. Again, so you have this. You have to keep in mind you should try to define your shapes everywhere you can. So those shadows, those lights defines like this is the wall, this is the floor. Everywhere you can put some sort of light shape definition. So sharp shadows, one thing. Another thing, the depth created by fog. So you can see this stuff is lighter, this stuff is darker. The artist kind of used this fog in the same level here, here, and here, which always flattens your scene. You should use it wisely. Like the farther the objects are, they're gonna be more fogged out, right? The closer they are, they're gonna be darker. Also, the fog also creates this sort of misty, hazy environment. So every light source would have like this sort of haze around them. That is very colorful, that takes the color from the light. With this sort of exposure of light, I'm talking here in photographic terms, all those lights in the windows would be like more prominent, more established, like you could see some highlights in them from the light sources. This like global lighting was pretty flat because everything is sort of grayish. That's why I put some nicer warmer light behind this arch to define this shape and just to get more depth from the scene. Also to sort of define more of this inner arch structure. I put some lights just to illuminate it nicely because some nice bottom illumination here going on. Again, if it's foggy, it's probably moisty because even though you have some puddles here. Don't you laugh at moisty, my friend.
No, man, I'm laughing. I'm laughing at the comments. That's just very funny.
Okay.
There's a guy called, or a girl, I don't know, called Divine Fapper, and says, "Hey guys, by the way, what WTF does kurva mean in every game? Polish people yell it."
Yeah, it's pretty much
a chord.
Do people yell it in The Witcher? Do people yell it at you?
Of course. It's actually a profession. It's just not a nice way to call a working lady. That's what a kurva is. So yeah, she's a whore, basically. Anyway, back to moistiness on the subject. So we have some light sources reflection on the floor here. Just a few of them, don't get too crazy with like reflection. And you should also note that like dark stuff should not reflect as strongly as the light stuff, because that's how reflection works. Duh. And some final touches in the shadow. Always in the shadow, almost always in the shadow, colors are way more prominent than in the light. So those grayish white pieces of housing would actually take some blue from the sky itself. So it should be at least hinted that there's like more color variation in those shadows. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one.
Perfect explanation of it.
It's a nice painting as well.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a good base to work on.
Yeah.
Okay, save it. Next one. Some questions, maybe.
Of course.
Okay, let's check.
I will just scroll up. Okay, brushes, we answered that.
Yeah, some curva asking.
Yeah, last time we answered that.
Yeah, guys, we have still like 20 minutes or so. So if you want to ask something for Marek, just feel free to do it.
So how come somebody gets like 4 hours and I only get 2?
What? Can you repeat?
Oh, yeah, I mean, Ben was just super, and like his endurance was just crazy. Like if you want to stay up, you can just stay up here all night. You can do it all night long, right?
So
We will take turns. We will take naps.
We will take turns. I like that. Anyway, continue, guys.
No. You have started explaining.
Yeah, this one will be like
Go
super quick because this is something I call like a basic environment art when you go from lighter to darker. You just have to watch out for those shapes and the volume of the shapes not to get out of control. Because right now you have this super light value here and the super dark value here, and this just destroys like information about how the shape actually looks. I can tell you how this looks. So you kind of have to balance it. Like if it's like here, some of it is lightening, like lighter, but most of it is super dark, especially since this is like the light source, right? So you have to be super careful with defining those shapes. And this is what you do again with area perspective. Like some parts are way darker because they are closer to us, but some are way closer. Again, this whole image is like a serious value check because it's way out of the scale. Like these super light elements are almost the same brightness as around the sun, so not good. Don't do that. Don't do that, kids. I'm saying kids because I'm ancient. You don't know, especially for this kind of job. I started late.
Okay, so just
kind of late in this. Okay, continue.
Maybe some resources.
Going back to that personal project thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess after Danny Lovisi and his cats made a huge success with the Last Man Standing, everyone was kind of like this moment. Oh yeah, I can work on my personal project and sell it to Hollywood. And I know me and Maciej kind of got this wind up our wings to do something on our own. And Maciej started painting all of his neon girls, like this kind of futuristic action from 80s. And I kind of took a different approach to it. Like I focused more on storytelling, on constructing a good script and proper narrative to my story. And I got like way over my head with this one. I didn't find it so hard. It was actually a completely different thing to master. It's like another 10,000 hours you have to put into it to get like any good results. I created my first like a basic outlines of the script, of the movie script, and I thought, oh yeah, that sounds pretty decent. Put it down for like a week, come back to it. Oh my god, what have I done? That was just so bad, so generic. Characters doing what script tells them. No character development, nothing. So yeah, I read some book about it, did some workshop, read some more books about it, practiced a little bit, and like 3 different scenarios later, I finally cooked something I was kind of happy with. And you know, I'm trying to find some time to develop it into something. I always wanted to make a game, so I guess it would be like a adventure game with like a very simplistic gameplay.
Nice.
Sort of like a Walking Dead, but with prettier graphics. So this is but kind of a thing I'm working on. Hopefully someday it will be created, but it's kind of hard to, you know, when you have a paid job offers, and it's usually some sort of movie that comes near you, and hey, would you like to work on that super franchise? And you're like, yeah, of course I would like to work on it. You kind of get lost with your personal stuff in there, because it's always more rewarding to get a paycheck and to work on something you can show to people immediately than to work on your stuff that would take years to develop.
Yeah, of course, because there are like other skills included, like you told us before. You have to learn how to do screenplay and.
Oh yeah, character development. It's just something so hard. People have no idea. I always thought it's easy to like develop a story for a movie or for a game, just, you know, something to propel players to go on. And it's easy to do some shitty like standard story to do, you know, just go through level to level. But I really wanted to do something like sort of personal, you know, something to connect with, that would connect with people. So yeah, personal development, character development, that's super hard stuff to do, right? Not to mention to master. So yeah, my work right now, it's sort of how some of it is just painting and some of it just typing stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, diversifying it a little bit, right?
Yeah. I think Danny said that nowadays, if you want to work on your own IP one day, you want to create something on your own, you have to learn how to screenwrite, at least like on very basic level, how to maybe not screenwrite, but how to create interesting narratives, because it's really harder than it seems.
Yeah, totally.
But of course, it will be something futuristic. I love futuristic stuff, futuristic design. I'm totally in love with like how Halo is looking, Halo series, with those, you know, amazing landscapes combined with amazing alien architecture. So it's, if you're looking forward to something like that, it's gonna be something like that.
Okay, so we got a little bit of a tease about your personal project, which is awesome. Thanks for explaining. I mean, I'm crossing my fingers for it.
Oh yeah, it's probably gonna be a year of something like that, because before I will be ready to show something, because I don't want to show like separate paintings for it. I just want to have like a whole package ready so people can get excited. I want to also make sure that I actually can do it in some form. It doesn't have to be a game. Maybe it's going to be just an art book, maybe some sort of interactive comic books. We live in interesting days, like when you really can show your imagination in very different ways.
Yeah, you can mix up different mediums nowadays, right?
Exactly.
You can just
You're not like constrained by I can do only images, but you can really the development materials for game making or for making like some sort of interactive comic book, as I said, it's just easy to pick up and just do something. I'm not saying it's going to be extraordinary technically wise, but it will be like something, you know, something that can get people interested in it, in your story.
Totally. Okay, I have another question. Marek, what's the difference of pipeline work for games to film industry? Are deadlines usually the same, or do you have more freedom for your art depending on what you have been working on?
I think the deadlines in movie industry are way tighter, at least from my experience. I worked on a couple of movies, but yeah, all of them had like a daily updates for your producer that you have to, but you don't have to, but you should show something new, like what you've been working on this day. And in game development, we didn't have, especially on The Last of Us, we didn't have such a tight deadlines. They were just expecting us to do awesome stuff, and you do them very independently. So it's basically only up to you how good your image is. There was a very little like feedback, at least technically wise, very little feedback from a producer of the game. In movies, you're like, I think you're a bit more controlled by a production designer that tells you that we cannot build this, or this won't fit the set, or this has to be in like connected with every other prop we are building and stuff like that. So the movie thing is, at least at the production level, is a bit more restricting, because again, like with game development, you have like different what's the word I'm looking for? I lost my thought. Different production stages. That's the word. So at the beginning, when you're like only doing illustrations for a script and nothing else, you can pretty much go in any direction you want to go with your designs, because nothing is ready yet, and it's just you and your designs based on what you read on the script. But later in the production of the movie, you actually have to match all your paintings and all your designs with what the rest of the team is doing, and what the visual studio will be able to reproduce, and what's going to be good on screen. So yeah, that's pretty much it. But again, things are different depending on what studio you're working on, what's your production designer. It's like very, very fluid.
I love the overpainting you're just introducing in here. Like, what are you doing right now? Are you smudging it, or?
I have like this little thingy that I use as like my main smudger. It's basically it's a random round brush, but it's created this sort of nice blending options. Like if you see, you can see like circles, creating. But if you use it lightly, it's actually nice for again blending, just quickly blending the colors.
Okay, perfect.
I'm super. This is like a super quick because it's a basic environment. I just wanted to show you how much value. Like, see this. This is. I'm assuming this is lava, and this is like a smoke coming from the lava, but the lighting is just all wrong, especially if you're doing like this is sunset. You have to check your values. Just check how would sunset in the mountains. They say, Google that shit. Sunset in the mountains, and you will see how the values go through like a mountain ranges.
Yeah.
And you will see that this is like super dark, and if you have a lava and if you have like lava clouds, like a vapor here, it would be actually sort of illuminated by lava and only partially illuminated by the sky. So yeah, you have to create something like this misty sort of thing here. And again, values on the mountains, make sure you can read those shapes correctly, those volumes correctly.
Awesome. Yeah, there's another question coming. Do you work with tons of layers when you're creating one of those huge illustrations? Or you are one of those guys who tries to keep stuff traditional?
Oh no, I work like a shitload of layers, like crazy amounts. Whenever I hit 200, I'm just trying to flatten everything I can and just switch to another file. I have usually like 3 or 4 those production files, because when you're flattering, you kind of losing. You might lose some of movable objects on your background or on your characters, and it's super important, especially when you do marketing art, because sometimes even late in the production of it, you will get a feedback from a client. Yeah, we have to move that, or we have to change that object and something like that. That just totally screw you over if you don't have it layered some way. So yeah, I'm using a lot of those.
Do you feel like it's like destroying your art module? Like you cannot really free yourself up like you did before. So
There is, yeah, I hate that sort of managing your layers aspect of it. But then again, I use a lot of folders for layers. You can like put your layers in the separate folders and color tag them and name them. So I usually don't get lost. I just, if I know that this object will have a lot of layers, like a main character, I know it's gonna have a shitload of layers. So I'm putting it in a separate layer folder for like a character. And then, for example, if I know his jacket is gonna take a lot of layers to create, I put that in separate folder. So it's usually just a few clicks away to find what layer I'm looking for.
okay, so you just have to learn how to work with this type of workflow, right?
Yeah, exactly. You have to get your head around a lot of layers. Yeah, basically.
Okay. So what's up with this piece?
Yeah, I got the portfolio review request from Daniel Tika, and basically most of his images look like this. I'm assuming he's creating black and white image and then put some color levels on it, like I don't know, some color overlays or just straight up color layers. So my problem with most of his work is just they are way too dark and they are way too color monotonous. Like he's using like only one or two colors through the whole image, and it just doesn't look right. It just looks kind of boring, especially when you consider like if you have a portfolio of all the images that look kind of like this. So I will try to jazz up some stuff here. First of all, forest doesn't look like that. It would have a lot more of like this sort of highlights, this sort of cutouts of light coming through trees.
There is some interesting question on the chat, Marek.
Yeah.
Which do you think is the best way to improve rendering?
More RAM and more core processing power. Oh, come on, I'm just messing with you. Why are you so serious?
Yeah, just farm.
I'm actually answering that question because rendering is specific to 3D rendering, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I think I know what you mean, like rendering details on your
Yeah,
image,
it's like
right?
a polishment and all that stage of the finalizing and polishing everything.
I don't think I have like a specific recipe for that. You just have to, like when you have a basic layout of the image, you should actually always start with like a basic layout, like a thumbnail of it, and then just make it bigger in size and work on that basic layout if you are happy with it, of course. Just work on it until you're happy with that small thumbnail, right? And after that, if you go like into super detail, make sure you sort of stick to the values and colors you previously established, because it's super easy to get lost. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna paint detail on this tree, and I'm gonna make sure like this branch is like this nice shadows, and oh, this volume. Oh yeah, that's so great. Oh my god, I'm so good at it. But then when you're zooming out, you see that, oh fuck, I just blew it because it's out of place. This is not the right place to put such a dark value and so many details in it. So yeah, you have to just be whatever this thing work for you, that you're not gonna lose it when you put more details in it.
Yeah, so basically the thumbnail is the most important or essential thing at the beginning.
Yeah.
And the only thing you have to do is like keep it up into the details. But it's like pretty easy to destroy it, as you said.
Super easy. Like always, every now and then I just do this, zoom out completely, or have a very small navigator window on my screen just to make sure I'm just doing.
Yeah, and sometimes you realize that you have to go back to to more sketchy version because it's all fucked up right now.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I do that like all the time on voice. Also, it's used to good. We use a good photo reference or a photo texture just straight up. Because if you're rendering, you have all those painterly juice already established. Just, if you have to put like a details on it, it may take you some time to do it with by paintbrush, and also most of the time it's not gonna look realistically enough. Like those branches, I'm pretty sure they're like texture based, right? Because they look kind of good. But artists actually here used it very wisely, and you know, it's very consistent with the rest of the image. It's kind of distracting because you have like these painterly brushes here and this super sharp, like, you know, branches here. But you know, it's all good. I'm pretty sure that he will develop it further to equalize it. So use photo reference, use photo textures, but use it, you know, make sure you use it wisely, make sure you use it in the right context of the whole image. That's the most important thing. It's not in the detail, it's in the whole image.
Yeah, you need to be aware of how to use it.
Because many people, when they hear photo bashing, they're like, "Ah, that's so easy."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just I can photo bash all day long. Yeah, bashing photos all day long. Yeah, it's just no, just try it and no.
It's not that easy.
It's kind of it's even if you see like a lot of concept art for movies, it's just artistic wise, just so all over the place with those photos. But again, I thought I would be way better at it, but after working at a movie for a while, yeah, I know it's a lot of different things that go into a concept like that. It's not always the final image that counts. It's a design, it's a deadline, it's a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you do like a shitload of iterations of one single thing, it just you have to put those iterations really quickly. So no wonder it's not artistically valid. It doesn't have to be. It's not its purpose. Its purpose is to design something that will be built on stage, or it will be used by a VFX company. So yeah, it's not always about art. You're a concept artist. You're a concept artist. You have to do concepts.
Yeah. It means something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you have to just be those two things, both of them.
No, yeah, that's what the title implies.
Yeah, it's very old.
Like when are you illustrator, you do illustrations that imply something else than a concept artist. Well, again, I like both of those words. They have the basics are the same, but they focus on different things, and I like this difference of the focus from time to time.
So your intention was to rather become an illustrator than a concept artist. The need to do concept art.
No, I
came
didn't.
after that.
Again, I didn't have any such clear thoughts back then. I was just, I want to paint! Yeah, painting awesome, painting nice, painting good. Seriously, this was just pure need for painting. That's all. People commenting on my stuff, oh, it's so, people like it, oh, that's so. Oh, this guy didn't like it. I hate this guy. He's so right, oh my god, he's so right, I cannot paint it. So yeah, I remember those times very fondly when you have this upside down swing of moods, when you put new image and you just, what's gonna be the feedback? Are they gonna like it? Are they not gonna like it? What's the score? What's the verdict here? And you know, and the people are voicing their opinion. I don't like Facebook for it because it's hard to get like a good feedback from Facebook. I love our old forum, our Polish forum.
Yeah, Max would be
a lot from comments. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like a lot from other people comments, like people from that work in the industry would actually come and said things to your face like, dude, just no.
Stop it.
Stop it. Just stop it. Stop it right now. You're being offensive to people. Just stop it.
Yeah, but they don't do it anymore in your threads, right?
Yeah, it's gonna dissolve somehow. I don't know why. It's sad. It's just. I don't think it's good for people, for like future generations of Polish artists.
Yeah.
We have like a gap. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but there's like a gap. I don't know. Maybe I'm not following right forums or I don't following right people. But there is very few like new generation artists that I think should emerge by now in like Polish groups or something like that.
Yeah, it kind of went global, I think. So maybe people learned English, and I don't know, they're younger and they know like English a little bit better at the young age, and maybe they enter different forums, and I don't know, they're trying to be maybe a little bit more. I don't know. Facebook kind of works in a certain groups, right?
Yeah,
If
but
you were-
Facebook is more like for what's the networking, you know, to show
Yeah,
off your stuff.
yeah, of course, but
It's great
Yeah.
for feedback. Like, I don't know. I didn't get decent feedback in years.
yeah, you know, we got the same idea about that. Like me and Dark went like, okay, but the Facebook isn't really the place to host something like Level Up. But then we created the group, and of course all the Dropbox of the Facebook group are there, so there are no threads. There's no you cannot go back to the post, but still we have created the group that you can actually get a pretty cool feedback on, and it's still a Facebook group. So it kind of works, but maybe for people that are more of a beginners at your level, I think because I think personally you're like one of the best, period, and you have to rely on your friends' comments and your friends, I mean art friends, like the guys that work in the different studios, the
Yeah,
guys that.
they don't comment on my stuff also. They just, no, that's nice. Thank you very much. It helped me a lot with that nice thing. Yeah.
Maybe you just became that good. Maybe you just became that good that it's not.
Yeah, right. But I actually learning a lot from a movie production designers. Crazy knowledge about design and what will work. And I worked with Owen Patterson on 2 movies. He's the guy that worked previously with Wachowski on Matrix series. And this just comments of this guy, I usually like, nah, dude, that's not gonna work. Why would you want me to rework it? But then I do what he said and just like, fuck, of course it would. God damn it. It's not technical level, but it's just like designing stuff, like essential how to combine things. Just, those people have like massive amounts of experience.
Yeah, sometimes you get the feedback and you don't even understand it.
Until you actually do what they say. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
duh.
Because the person telling you to do so is so beyond your level that it's actually not reachable, and
It's
you
not
just
reachable.
have to apply. Just apply, shut up, and do it.
Yeah.
You have to trust it.
Interstellar level.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay, I'm kind of happy with the forest silhouette here, and let's move on to my main concern with those images is that it's way too dark. Way too dark. You should introduce some light source, even if they are like fake light source, like they wouldn't appear in a real life. Just fuck that shit. Just make sure that image is working correctly. Don't follow the reality so closely, because you're the master of this image, you are the master of this reality, and make sure it actually looks good before you present it to people.
Yeah, and make sure that you're actually presenting an image. You cannot stand beside the image and tell people, hey, this is actually what I say, and this is actually what I say, and this is actually what I say, and basically there's no explanation to your image.
I never read the image
Explanation to your
descriptions.
image is
It's all should be an
the
image.
images speaks for
Everything you want to
themselves.
say
Yeah.
about this image, it should be exactly. It should be on the fucking canvas. Nobody reads anything anymore.
Yeah, we're on the internet, goddammit. It's kind of sad.
Exactly.
And good.
So see, I love this clever thing about colors. I actually picked this blue and just desaturated, and this is how warm value we got. Like this is, look at this hue. It just, you could say it's like almost reddish somehow. It's just great.
Yeah.
That's how amazingly color works, people. Make notes.
Just desaturated that bad boy, right?
See this? This is just almost desaturated. No color information, and yet, you know, the background working with favor. So you think it's warm.
Color contrast, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you know, you can use it in like this strongly shifted color palette. You can use grays instead of actual color, because if I would use, for example, oh yeah, so it's a wood, so I would paint it brown, definitely, because this is what the color of the wood is, right? So if you pick some sort of brownish thingy here, look how out of place this is. Like a shit. Even if you try to match, see, this is like just no way near it. Make sure you kind of work with the color palette you established, like you want to establish in your image. And even if somebody tells you just put warmer tones onto it, it doesn't actually mean put different tones. Just try to play around with the values, with the hue, and this is what you can get. Like, this is actually kind of nice defined tree bar.
Actually, I remember that in one of your tutorials you said that you start with this background to estimate your colors for objects that are included into the scene, right?
Yeah. Because
so it's
again,
like it's exactly the same what you are telling us. So the scene is the estimating colors, and the lighting is like the objects are incorporated into the scene with the right value and color structure and hues.
Exactly. You kind of, well, it's at the end of the day, it depends on the image you are working on.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
Again, this thumbnail, make sure you kind of like it and just develop it from here, but within the sort of borders you established before. So yeah, we kind of have too much jumpiness on the color scatter here. This is what it is. So, shape dynamics. Nope, color dynamics. Let's say brightness should be slightly smaller. Yeah, that's what I wanted.
Yeah, sometimes it's good to just take your time and set the brush settings just right for the job that you're doing.
So my previous brush was like doing this kind of too out of value specs that I didn't like it. So I toned the value with brightness randomness. So it's sort of more controllable right now. And again, I'm just trying to define more shapes here because it's way too dark. There should be like, oh, look at those greens. Oh my god, it's just so juicy.
So we tend to have artists that switch the canvas horizontally a lot. You are not doing that. And
oh yeah, I'm doing that constantly. I have a shot. It's overpainting. I use it mostly when I'm working on thumbnail face to make sure my composition is just reading right.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't want to change too much in those overpaintings.
Of course.
Because I'm pretty sure artists wanted to say something when they pose this image like that. I don't want to destroy it. I just want to sort of improve on technical levels, not to touch like the essence of the image.
Yeah, that's
yeah, we also never do that. We never touch the essence of the image. We always keep completely intact.
So,
we tend to do it. Yeah,
no, value on this lady is way too much. Oh, I'm not gonna fix it so easily. So this is like super over, like too much light. Like, see, where is this light coming from? Like, what the hell is going on here? See how bright her face is? Unless she's like illuminating, but again, you should put some haze around her. You have to make sure that the values on the elements that you're putting on the image kind of work with the rest of the image. Can I do it quickly?
Yeah, if you have something that's overexposed, it can be tricky to tone it down again because you get ugly colors and stuff.
I hate overexposing stuff. I usually tone everything down and it's easier to just put some more light. Well, not put some more light, but just sort of if you overexpose, you're crushing the details, just destroying them. No coming back from that. So you have to be like super careful about it. Okay, so let's say we could do this and then this rock, for example. You need way more shape definition here, my friend. Even if you're doing like a scene that is super dark like this one, make sure you have some sort of light sources defining your shapes.
And so when you're painting or blocking in your shapes, you're basically always putting a brush stroke and then cutting it out with the shadow value, right?
Yeah, usually I kind of like working from dark to light. So you know, I just take like this, you know, shape, some sort of shape. Totally abstract shape, right?
Yeah, I was just gonna mention the peanut actually.
Yeah, and just you know, just maybe some detail, just kind of, you know, just
Ooh,
add some light to it.
global
You know?
illumination.
Yeah, so just totally rework it, and you know.
Oh,
You know
God.
your grandchildren are gonna look at this, right?
Yeah, it's a cave troll. What the hell did you thought it was? See, it's coming out of like a rock and stuff. What were you implying, my friend?
Let's keep it like that. You have not destroyed the essence of the picture.
The essence is still dark.
The essence has been introduced right now. God damn it, it's so good.
It's all about the essence, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, remember about the shape definition, people. This is very, very important thing.
Can you make that one a bit less cocky as well?
Less. I'm not being cocky.
He's smiling though.
Yeah.
Whoa, I didn't see that, but okay.
There's a lot of girth on that rock.
Apparently, I'm all out of cock right now. I don't see. I think those wolves are kind of stylized even a little bit, but again, don't abandon shape definition. That shit will read every time and will tell way more than detail about the object than, you know, if you would leave it like undefined. So at this point, I probably should use some awesome rocky texture brush. Okay, let's try this one.
Bye bye. There he goes. Okay, quickly some
Yeah,
sound.
I'm gonna
We'll be back.
Not enough dicks and he got kicked. That's what happens.
So it's probably me, right?
No,
Yeah,
it was the
brush.
dick.
The brush.
The dick. It was that dick.
I think YouTube is gonna ask us to put age restriction on this video.
I don't think so.
I said viewer discretion advice, right? At the beginning of the show.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You got our asses covered. Thanks, man.
Yeah, that's ideal.
You have to reshare the screen, Marek.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Stupid face again.
I love the poster you have on your wall.
Oh, thank you. That's drawn by superly talented John Sweeney from Naughty Dog.
Oh yeah, I know this guy. Awesome. Awesome environment paintings.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of feels like Naughty Dog came to like create that super team of like awesome concept artists, and like you have Aitan, you have Nick, you have John, you have Maciej, Shadi was working there, you like
Yeah.
crazy amounts of skill.
Oh yeah, I'm
And-
so missing those guys because they are not only talented, but they're just super nice to hang out and they kind of click together, you know? Like they're not just meeting in work, but also outside work, just spending time, chatting. Oh, those guys, I really, like, the most thing I'm missing from California is just hanging out with those guys.
Huh.
I try to visit them every now and then, but it's just such a long way to California.
Oh yeah.
But then
20
again,
hours.
at least once a year, I just go there for a couple of days, hang out, do stupid shit, get some laughs out of them, you know. Fun. Yeah, so maybe we should put some sort of light here. How about that?
Yeah, so all the things that you're doing right now are basically like creating the shape design. Maybe not creating it because it was there, but it's like making it more clear in terms of reading.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I've been trying to
Yeah,
say through my overpaintings, that you have to use light to define those areas that you deem interesting or that you want to, just show. Because when you show something like this, it's undefined. Sometimes you just don't see clearly what oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? What plane is it? Like, what is it, horizontal? Is it vertical? What's going on here? And with this, like using light to define those shapes and to add some more details to it, that's the juice. That's what you should focus on. Where are those legs?
So how would you practice that? Because it seems like it's kind of a cinematic way of arranging a shot. You tend to make it more clear at the first glance and trying to tell the story with it using light. So actually, because I feel like the artist that painted this piece might have the skill to do what you're doing right now, but he didn't have a knowledge to actually know where to put these things, because he could properly paint it, but he didn't know how to outline things and stuff. So what's the skill that is not there? What's the
experience? That's something.
That's the shit, right?
That's the shit you cannot buy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Because I was doing all those mistakes that I'm correcting right now many times before. Like, what the hell is wrong with my image? And you just stare at it for hours, and I don't know, something's wrong. I don't like it. Thankfully, I always had that sort of sixth sense that something is off with my image, but not always I was able to actually find out what the hell was that, what that thing was. But with years of just reworking, retweaking, just trying to make it work, you kind of get that vibe that that pattern is actually doing the same error again and again. Maybe you should try something else. And for me, it was the light definition almost all the time. Like, I didn't define shapes enough. Like, some stuff was just kind of lost in details and lost or in shading. Like, I wanted to show texture more than I wanted to show the shape of the object. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, pretty much. And those are like the basics. Because this is something you should be able to do. Like, this comes from practice of those simple paintings I'm telling you about, like those simple sphere shapes and box shapes and stuff like that. This is like the base of this knowledge. So if you want to improve on that, just every now and then do a simple, something that seems simple, at least simple exercise of painting something from nature, like simplistic stuff. And just follow the light, see how the light defines the shape and why is it defining, and then just try to mimic it in your image.
Yeah, sometimes going back to basics tends to be better, like you said, instead of like working on a really complicated illustration, like trying to figure all these things at once. Whereas you could probably nail one thing, then go to another, nail another thing, go to another, and then compile all these puzzles together to create something complex. It's a simple task management thing, I think. It's just I tend to be less overwhelmed when I simplify my tasks. For example, I don't have to create like the humongous illustrations with all that stuff, because I have problems with, for example, anatomy. And what then? Okay, so let's learn anatomy. Okay, I learned kind of the pose I wanted to say. Okay, let's try this one. What do I have problems with? Right, spend a day or two figuring out what you're lacking. Then, when you have that picture deconstruct to see all of your flaws at once before you start working, and try to eliminate them actually before you because obviously you will make mistakes, and there's no way you cannot, like, there's no way to avoid it. But if you have a chance to minimize it and you have time for it, for example, if it's like your personal piece, then I would use it to your advantage and just go with it and try. Using every tool you have. If it's time, okay, you have more time to work on it. You have more time to study certain things, find a lighting scenario, like whatever. So I would say simplifying your workflow is very important, because I tend to procrastinate when my workflow is too fucked up. When I just have a fear of doing like, it's not how it's supposed to be. You should be excited. Why am I not excited? Just because it's like there's too many constraints. I have fears that I cannot handle. So let's simplify that shit. Let's nail this shit. Let's just choose the thing that I want to do. And yeah, sometimes you don't have a clear goal. Sometimes you just want to create a perfect illustration, whereas you should want to create something that is at least showable, because basically you are not at that level yet. So I don't know. It just kind of feels like that sometimes, that you have to be more.
Your inner life is very rich, my friend.
What?
Your inner life, like what your thoughts are very rich.
Yeah. Kind of fun. Yeah, too much philosophy.
No, but it's actually funny, because I usually don't, with like experience and like working for different companies and just doing those images day in and day out, I don't think about those like small elements anymore. It's a second nature for me, right? So it's good to every now and then to sort of refresh those basics, like do this sort of session or do some paintovers for people, just to make sure that you're still remembering, you are like in touch with those basics. You have them sort of in your head. And to sort of connect what you said, that's why I think it's hard, and it's not the best way to start improving your skill for freshmen to do complex images, because it might be hard for you to wrap your hand around it and to just pinpoint everything you did wrong.
It feels like the scene you're painting right now is much more, like, it feels complete, right?
Yeah, because I'm pretty done with it. I just wanted to show some stuff to the author, what he should include more in his images. So let's just do this again. Yeah.
You also close the composition with the leaves and with some.
Yeah, because that's another thing. Again, I like putting those sort of frames around my images. You can see them like almost everywhere. But you are in the forest area, and you are like looking at this scene, right?
Yes.
But yet you have like no foreground leaves. It's like this is forest end, and this is like a meadow. There is nothing else. That just looks unnatural. If you put those foreground elements, you're kinda in the forest with those, creatures, with this scene. You're kinda observer of it. So this gets more immersion for the viewer in your stuff. You always should put some foreground objects for you to create depth of the image. So yeah, my basic complaints here, my basic fixes for this image is like more shape definition, more lights. Put it in the places that you wanted to put. Like this lady overexposure is kind of more, bearable with this sort of, you have like a light source, maybe a moon is just hitting through the crowns of the trees. You don't have to concern yourself with explaining every single light source or every single decision in your image, as long as it works, as long as it makes this image more readable. And again, this image, every image working on should be readable at this sort of level. So that's why the shape definition is so important. So even if you see it like this small, you can actually say, okay, so this is floor, yeah, this is some sort of rock, you have some sort of light going down here. This basic image was mostly shapes, like silhouettes of shapes and nothing else. This actually adds depth and definition to everything. Because when you look at the image, like the first glance, it's this stuff that our brains work like that. We see in volumes, like in 3D. So first glance should actually be able to make the scene into like a 3D scene that your mind will actually be able to explore. Wow, that's a mouthful.
Yeah, it also lets you immerse into the picture, like you added the foreground and extended the value structures. So
yeah. Oh my God, I could talk and talk, but I'm so sucking dry right now. It's so late, so yeah, we have to wrap it up slowly.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, if you want to, like, if you would have some spare time in the future, we can do another one. I mean, you are
like
just
a double session with the same guy.
Just a bubble session, and like, I don't know, maybe you could show us different things. I bet the response to that session will be just extraordinary because you are such a good teacher. That it's just, you know, I just love to hear you talking about all that stuff. I'm learning a lot. I have learned tons from today. I'm still a beginner, trying to, you know, reach out to the better level, try to level up. All right, that's what we do in here. And
yeah, it's really a pleasure to hear you, man. It's all the, you know, informative talk, along with some funny, you know. So.
Yeah, I try. Maybe maybe we could schedule it up sometime in the future. I will have like a new material for you guys, you know, all new stuff.
Yeah, we can do epic collaboration.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this last one image from Soul T-Balls. That's his name. So that's for you guys. You know. Hey!
Thank you so much, man.
You made it into really something like from the first overpaint with like crazy good guests, including me, of course. Congratulations on that. It's like 30. That's a lot of sessions.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's over 75 hours or something.
What? Come on.
Yeah.
That's nice.
And it's all good information, guys. Good information, good jokes. I mean, genius jokes, obviously. Some boring parts.
It's not like I worked on it whole week and just
exactly.
Paper.
No, when it's silent, just go to the toilet or grab some food.
I have to drink something.
Oh, you have to get up every hour, so you know.
Oh yeah, I've been sitting here like for 2.5 hours. What, you guys?
Some yogi.
Yeah. So
that's awesome.
Hopefully this is gonna be useful for somebody, someone.
Of course. I think 400 people that were watching us found it useful, and many people will watch it later on, because we are doing it in fixed hours, but it's available later on. So guys, if you have enjoyed today's session, please subscribe. As a big thank you to Marek, just go to his art station, follow him there, go to his Facebook, follow him there, and
stalk him there.
Yes, stalk him.
Yeah, definitely stalk us, invite at class. Yeah,
of course.
Groupie time.
Yeah, again, I'm just blown away. But 3 Polish people talking in English, teaching others about painting. That's just surreal. Well, just times are amazing for artists right now. Amazing.
Yeah, we are trying to reach out to. We felt like there's a need for a place for people to learn and hang out at the same time. So that's our response. That's like Level Up, just free, casual kind of knowledge, straight from professionals.
Thank God you finished with knowledge. I thought you were going somewhere else with it. You know, free, casual, you know.
Yeah, it's kind of like, you know.
You know, it's just free.
Yeah,
no obligations.
No obligation. You can like close it anytime you want, right? And I wanted. Personally, I also wanted to show that professionals are not so, like, stiff. You know, it's like there are people like us, right?
Stiff, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. we get stiff sometimes. Let me say it. It's just talking for myself, but I get stiff sometimes. But it's strictly professional. Always strictly professional.
Man, you have to get up every hour. That's why you're stiff.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
ideal.
yeah. Fun times,
Okay,
guys.
so guys, if we have the website, if you don't know already, it's called fusroda.com. You will find all the sessions in there. You will find plenty of resources in there, as well as the way you can help us creating the sessions. If you are enjoying these and you feel like helping us pay the stuff for the server space, Squarespace, and all the stuff we have to handle to do it, don't worry, Level Up will be free, but we accept donations. So whenever you feel like it, you can go to the website. There's a button in there, and you can help us host the site for as long as you want, because there's quite a lot of resources there and stuff to that we have to handle. So feel free to do it. It will help us expand the content and create contests as we are doing right now. So that's another thing to talk about.
Yeah, we have some pretty sweet prizes in the future already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The more help that we get, the more we can do in the future. So
Yeah, and we're
it's
gonna
only up to you guys, because we are doing our best, and yeah.
Exactly. We are dreaming big. Don't worry, we are dreaming big.
You have to dream.
Because we have to level up, man. Level up is also constantly leveling up. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Inception level up.
Yeah, man, it's super Inception level up.
Exactly. Okay, so again, big thank you, Marek, for joining us today. It was super inspirational.
We will pray for you, man. We will pray.
Oh my God, this again. I just hope my horrible accent wasn't off-putting too much for people to understand what I'm trying to say. So
it totally wasn't. We are pretty used to that.
And you're a Polish guy. You understand everything I say.
Yeah.
Of course.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So is it like Polish tradition to pray for each other, or so? Am I missing something?
Oh, no, you're definitely missing something.
I have like deja vu.
It came from the session with Maciej when I got like
creepy,
really creepy, really fast, like right now.
Yeah, that's so crazy. All right, guys. So see you guys next week. We all announce the next session soon, and
we will be back with the contest information pretty soon. So
pretty soon, yeah. That's our perfect
perfect word
dates.
for everything.
That's our motto. That should be our tagline pretty soon, because you'll level up.
Level up pretty soon.
Yeah, with that intonation, perfect.
Okay, so yeah, thanks.
See you guys. Bye. Thanks to Marek.
Amazing session. Thanks, guys.
Bye to all of you. It was a pleasure.
Bye.
People in the chat. Bye.